What if everything society told you about getting older was just a lie? What if this moment right now in your life wasn't the beginning of the end, but the start of your most powerful, joyful, free chapter? Welcome to the Soul Aligned Self-Care Podcast. I'm Tina, and this week it is my birthday, and I'm stepping into what I call level 57. And I'm not here to talk about slowing down. I'm here to talk about my metamorphosis, about how I'm finally using the wings I didn't even know I had. In this episode, I'm getting radically honest about the hard physical shifts, and I'm going to be sharing the exact non-negotiable tools that I use to stay strong, calm my nervous system, and connect with a level of joy and purpose I never thought possible. This is how we thrive. Let's get into it. You're listening to the Soul Aligned Self-Care Podcast. I'm your host, Tina Stinson, and I had a stroke at the age of 39 from stress and burnout that shook my world. Now I'm laying it all out, the deep level self-care practices and mindset shifts that I needed that kept me healthy, balanced, and thriving. Join me in this intimate space as we explore healing, resilience, and the soul's journey to alignment. This is where real conversations about deep-level self-care happen. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the Soul Aligned Self-Care Podcast. As I said, today I am talking about something I am very passionate about, and that is what I'm doing for myself as I move into my third most enjoyable era as a woman. To how am I staying healthy, strong, empowered, and happier than ever? So this week is my birthday. So if you're listening to this as it's being launched, it's October. And my birthday is on the 24th, so it's on Friday. I have a weekend birthday, which is so exciting. And I'm moving into what I call level 57. And I heard someone describe it like this once because it sounds so much better than saying I'm 57 years old. Level 57 just makes me sound like I'm really, really, really good at the video game of life, right? Because I'm at level 57, which is a pretty good level. I'm getting high up there, right? But my age has never bothered me before. I talk to some people, and like every time they hit like some type of a milestone age, 25, 30, 40, 50, they get really freaked out. And I'm not sure why. I do know some of the reasons. I'm going to share them with you, why I don't get too freaked out. But I think another reason I don't get too freaked out is because I'm really comfortable with death, the way I think about death. I don't really feel like that's the end. I guess if you think of death in a way as everything stopping and that's the end, that would be depressing, but I don't think of it that way. And, talking about what I think it is a whole nother podcast episode. Maybe I'll do one on death once, but I don't think of it that way. I feel pretty good. One of the reasons is I feel pretty good for my age. I didn't even start feeling older until around 55. And I think the only reason why I felt different was because I was going through like the hormonal changes of menopause, right? Of course you're going to feel different. Just like you feel different when you go through puberty, you're going to feel differently when you go through menopause. Another reason is I think it's a privilege to get older and to be able to experience this part of my life. Not everybody gets to do that. Society might not value me as an older woman, but I do. And most women know deep in their soul how amazing we are at this age. And hell, like actually at all ages, women are so amazing. Women change so drastically through their lives. And just the fact that we create life alone is just so amazing. And we create life while doing all these other things. I don't know. The more you look at the things that women do, the more you realize that they're absolutely magical. It's as if you slowed down the metamorphosis of a butterfly to last a human lifetime. And this moment right here where I am at right now is the grand finale. And I don't mean that in a like grim way. I mean it as it's finally when I get to use my beautiful wings. Okay. Moving into this stage has been a hard shift though, like mostly physically, if I'm being honest. Kind of like when you go through puberty, like I said, because your hormones are like crazy and your body is changing almost every single day. I mean that like almost every single day I feel different. And it's hard to really feel balanced when you're constantly shifting, but you're not shifting to some kind of norm, right? It's always, I'm shifting away from that and towards this and away from that and towards this. And it just feels impossible sometimes. And there is little to no support from the healthcare system, which at this time, actually in history, is collapsing as I speak. So women have to turn into like their own scientists, almost their own doctors, their own support systems. If you look online, there's all these support groups for women. There's all these different ways that you can find not just support, but almost like friendship and like you belong to like this big club and all women are a part of it. And if you really reach out, you'll find other women that are going through this so that you can actually, share notes, share your scientific journals with them. Figure out how to ride the wave of your ever-changing self so that you can feel good and you can be happy. I think one of the things that makes this transition easier is if you truly know and love yourself. I think this is so important. And I'm not talking about the body that you're in, but your soul, like deep down to your core, knowing who you are. A lot of us really don't know that. We're stuck like on this, the hamster wheel of life, I call it, where we're busy, doing, and we never slow down long enough to actually feel, actually just be. And then if we start doing that, we really don't know who we are because we haven't checked in so long. So knowing yourself is really, really important, and it makes it so much easier because on those days when you feel like you're just going to die, like you just don't feel good, you have yourself. And when you have your own back, you can have a sense of humor about all the crazy changes going on in your body and the world right now. And the last reason that my age doesn't bother me is I feel so free right now. There's really no expectations. Like I said, society does not value, in the United States, I should say, society does not value older women. This is a huge mistake because older women have so much value. And so, but I am so free because of that, because there's no expectation. There's nothing. No one's expecting me to get married, to have a career. No one's expecting me to make babies. No one's expecting anything of me. As a matter of fact, they've written me off. So I am just so free right now. I'm also honored to watch the fall of the patriarchy happening right now in front of all of our eyes. I'm just loving it. And then the rise of matriarchy that's going to happen. And yes, on the surface, the world is quite scary right now. Like if you really just like surface level look at it. But if you go deeper, just look deeper, you'll see something more beautiful. And I just kind of have this gut knowing feeling that I've had my whole life. And when it comes up, I just trust it because whenever that gut feeling that I have, whenever I get that, I just know, right? And I'm sure some of you have that same gut knowing that I have. But I know that everything's going to be absolutely great. Everything's going to work out just fine. It's going to be a rough ride along the way, but in the end, it's all going to work out. And my part in the whole process of this is just to be kind, be supportive, be loving to people around me. We all just need to support each other while the systems that supposedly used to do this collapse. It's very important. Today, I want to share with you what I'm doing at this stage in my life to stay strong, healthy, and have like an empowered mindset and be happy during this really cool time in my life. So let's get into it. All right. So I'm just going to like graze over all of these things that I do, but I want to just like make a point before I get started. None of these are minimal to me. All of these are so important to me. And I want to emphasize that everybody is different. So while these things that I do for myself might help me, you have to find what helps you. So if you're in a place where you're just like, I'm willing to try anything, I feel like shit, like I want to be able to move forward and feel good, then try some of these things. But have an open mind to try other things too, because what works for me might not work for you. Okay? So just have an open mind. Now, some of these things I just think are blanket going to work for everybody, and that's why I'm sharing them. But they are all, like, none of them are minimal to me. Each one of these things is so important. And also want to add that this is not all I'm doing. There's all these other little things that I do to make me happy, but this is like the top tier things. The first thing I'm going to talk about is journaling. This is how I connect to myself. I've been doing it for quite a long time now. I didn't do it when I was younger. Like when I was having kids and stuff like that, I didn't do this. So it was kind of when my kids started to grow up when I started doing this. And one of the funniest things about the reason why I didn't journal when I was younger was because I did journal. Let me go back, rewind a little bit. I did journal, but what would happen is the men in my life would read my journal. My ex-husband read my journal. I had a boyfriend read my journal. And it's like the ultimate betrayal. Like for me, that's like an end of a relationship. That's me. That's my personal stuff. So I stopped writing because I didn't want people to read this relationship I was having with myself, right? But then I started again because I was like, I don't give a flying fuck if anybody reads my journal. And if they do, they're out, right? That just shows me the type of person they are. So then they're out, okay? So as I said, this is one of the ways I connect to myself. I go deep into like who I am. What do I truly want? Why do I want it? How it's going to change my life. How do I move into it? Journaling has always been to me a conversation that I'm having with my subconscious. The more I do it, the more I feel that deeper connection, the more I get to know myself in a deeper way, and the more I'm able to support myself. Those of you who have worked with me in my coaching practice and any of my programs, anything that I do, know I always use journaling. Even here on the podcast, I'm constantly sharing journal prompts. So I will share a link in the show notes to my freebie that has a journaling workbook in there that covers the whole year. There's like a different topic for each month. So you can grab that. It's completely free if you want to try journaling. It's a kind of a cool way to start. So that, as I said before, I think it's a lot easier to go through changes in your life when you know yourself very well. And journaling is one of those things that helps me do that. I don't know if you can hear my dog in the background. She is just like scratching and scratching. Millie, you okay? She is the token soul aligned self-care podcast dog. She's also my support system. So the next thing I want to talk about is nervous system support. I have always been a little bit anxious. It's like tattooed into my DNA. And there are facts around that does happen. Like we kind of inherit the anxiety from our moms and our mom's moms and our mom's moms. It's like it's in our DNA. And I definitely see that. My mom was really wound tight. She was a wonderful mom, great mom, but she was anxious, and I'm anxious, and it's just there. Even when I'm at my best, I still have like a low level anxiety, right? But I have to say, as your hormones change, one of the things that can happen is your anxiety can skyrocket. And this is a scientific thing. I think it's as your estrogen drops. And I don't know, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know why this happens, but that's what happens. And I believe that if you have this tendency like I have, it might be something that you have to deal with when you're going through those changes. And this is definitely my experience. So one day, out of nowhere, this is like when I was in perimenopause, I was in my 40s, I started having panic attacks. Nothing happened, like nothing major happened. My body just thought all of a sudden everything was a major threat. And I was blindsided by it. I didn't expect it. I never had a panic attack before. So it was really hard for me to deal with. So nervous system support has been a game changer for me. And some of the things that I do regularly to help keep my anxiety levels lowered are movement. So I love running, walking, dancing in my living room, anything that's going to release that energy. So we have like that energy moving around in our body, and sometimes we just need to like let off the steam. You know what I'm saying? And this really helps regulate your nervous system. Putting on your favorite song and like dancing in your living room for just that song can release so much energy and improve your day so much. It could be life-changing, honestly. It's really amazing. So just doing that one thing would help with your nervous system. Now, the second thing is yoga. And I know yoga is movement, but yoga needs its own category because it doesn't just help calm the nervous system. Yoga is a way of life. It's a way to live, and it can help you in almost every area of your life. And it has been so supportive for me throughout my entire life since I started, which was probably late 20s, early 30s. And I started doing yoga because I had an injury, and someone said this will help you recover from your injury. I think I like tore a muscle or something like that, and I was recovering and rebuilding. And it did. It was like magical. It helped so much. And so I was stuck with it ever since then. But it's been so much more than that. It's not just physical, it's mental. It helps both your physical health and your mental health. So I can't say enough good things about it. I'm learning more about it every day. I'm working on a certification right now. If you want to learn more about yoga, don't just do yoga. Read a couple of books about yoga and using it as a way of life. Next is breath work. Scientifically proven to calm the nervous system, lower your blood pressure. This has been something that has helped me so much because it helps you when you're in that moment. Now, it's not always easy to do breath work when you're having a panic attack. There's other things to use when you're in that like kind of emergency situation. But breath work can be something you do on a regular basis when you just start to get that feeling, that little anxious feeling that you get before anything, starts to loop into something more. Breath work done daily can really, really help regulate your nervous system. I became an instructor, and I'm currently doing another certification to learn different types of breath work. So I do these things not just to share them with you, but I do them for myself. I love learning all the things that can help me feel better. And breath work is definitely one of them. I use breath work every single day in my life. The next thing is meditation. So I'm also a meditation instructor. You guys probably know that. And I create meditations. I always share a link in the show notes to my YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure I do. So you could check out my meditations there. I'm also on Aura and Insight Timer, so you could check me out over there also. But it's not, meditation is not just for my nervous system, although it helps a lot with that. But it's also helpful in the pursuit of getting to know myself better. Meditation, just being still, just allowing yourself to just be for a few moments, can help you see things more clearly. You can see things as they actually are. This is really important in today's world right now. The next thing that has been really, really important all my life, but especially right now, has been my nutrition. It's a doozy because your body is changing so much. All the things that have worked for you for your entire life, like all the things that kept the weight off, all the things that made you feel good, all the things that you could eat or couldn't eat, are now going to be different because your body is changing. You're turning into a different person. Like it really is like the metamorphosis of the butterfly. Like I can't even, I feel like most women would agree with me. And I say likely, that, these things are likely going to be different because I think some women may not experience this at the same level that I have. It's different for everybody. But for me, I had to change almost everything. Some of the things I changed that will be supportive for almost everyone are these things, okay? Really important. Eat real food, okay? What do I mean by real food? Just cut out the, processed crap. Real food. Mostly plants, and prioritize protein. Those things right there are that's what I try to do at every meal. First, Take out all the processed foods, the chemicals, the sugars, the added salt. They throw you off so much. As we age, our bodies don't process protein as efficiently, so we need more. And we're also actively losing our muscle mass as we go through menopause. So more healthy forms of protein will support your muscles and will help control your weight gain because it's going to help you feel full longer. So focus on adding foods with as much nutrition as you can. I like to have 20 plus grams of protein per meal. I really kind of shoot for 30, but if this is something that's new to you, just like slowly learn how to add it in. There's plenty of resources online, on YouTube, social media of women showing you how to add more protein into your meals because it works, right? So it's very easy to find recipes and things like that will help you. And I am vegetarian, so I don't eat meat. And I still can do this. It's very, very, very possible. Something funny that I do all the time, one of the ways I supplement protein is I make protein shakes. Not always the best kind of protein, but it's good to have a supplement. You could use them. Sometimes I use them as meals when I don't have time to like really make something. Sometimes I use it as a snack, right? Instead of eating junk. And I play this game with myself. So I try to see how much nutrition I could add to the shake to just make it more and more, like more protein, add more nutrition. So I'll add like chia seeds, which doesn't just add protein, but it adds essential fatty acids. It adds fiber. Same thing with ground flax. Pumpkin puree is so good for you. It's so good for your gut. There's so many vitamins and nutrients in it. Blueberries, raspberries, pumpkin seeds, walnuts, all those things. You could just keep adding stuff. Now, I'm not saying add all of those in one shake. That would probably be pretty gross, but there is so much that you can add to not only make it delicious, but also very nutritious, very filling, and a really good protein boost for your day. It's a really good way to like protein load, like early in the day. If you do it for breakfast, you could probably make a protein shake with 40, 50 grams of protein easily, by adding just yogurt to it, which I do almost all the time. I do this also with every meal. And this is something I learned when I did my culinary nutrition educator certification. Like it's like, how could you make that meal more nutritious? And one of the things I remember that I learned that I thought was so interesting was like cooking rice with like a tea made from different herbs. So like, basically just flavoring your rice with herbs that are so healthy, like cilantro and parsley and all these other things, not just using some kind of stock that's loaded with like chemicals, but making your own stock with spices and herbs and stuff like that. And all that nutrition that it adds to that rice is amazing. So there's so many different ways that you could add nutrition in, all these little tricky things that you could do. So always ask the question, how can I make this meal better? Now, I want to add like this major disclaimer right now, like major disclaimer. I do not take this too seriously. I still eat tons of crap. I love my cookies. I love candy. I love ice cream. I still drink alcohol. I don't drink a lot of alcohol because I really do pay attention to the way it makes me feel, and I don't want to feel like shit. So I don't drink a lot of alcohol anymore. But I still do sometimes socially. The key is to eat well around 80% of the time to support your health, but still have fun and enjoy food. Food is social. It's a part of our relationships, kind of. Like it's a big part of life. So enjoy it. Like don't always be the Debbie Downer. Like when you're by yourself, eat as well as you possibly can, but allow yourself to have fun. Allow yourself to let your hair down. Life just is not meant to be that serious. The next thing is, this is very important also, and it's weightlifting. God, can I just tell you that I have never liked weightlifting? I really haven't. There was one time I did like weightlifting, and I'll share that with you. But right now, as we are in midlife, it's like a battle we're in. And I noticed it a lot because I had a lot of muscle for different reasons. I've always worked out. I actually like working out. I don't like weightlifting, but I like working out. We need to keep our muscle in order not just to look good, but it's more about a battle to stay mobile, strong, and self-sufficient as we get older. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be helpless as I get older. I don't want to fall. I don't want my kids to have to take care of me. I just want to go strong until I drop dead, if that makes sense. Women lose muscle mass at an accelerated rate, roughly 1% per year during and after menopausal transition, primarily due to the loss of estrogen's protective and anabolic effects. This leads to significant health risks, including metabolic slowdown, weakness, and frailty. And let me tell you, I noticed this. I saw the difference. There was like 1 year, right when my estrogen really dropped, where I could see myself losing my muscle. It was so strange. I can't even tell you. So, if there is one thing you take away from this blog post, it's this. It's never too late to start lifting weights, and it's never too early. The time to start is yesterday. And yes, lift heavy. Not those little bitsy weights. Although if you've never lifted before, start small and then build up. Your best bet, especially if you have no experience, is to find a trainer to just show you a few routines and then build from there. Like have that trainer show you how to build from there. And then you don't have to work with that trainer for the rest of your life. If you don't want to, you can, if that's helpful to you. Or you could go to YouTube like me. Like I love YouTube. I'm not going to lie. I just love it. But just start. And I found somebody that I follow. I think it's called Fit by Mick, M-I-K. It's like these little 20-minute workouts. And I don't know why, but it just works for me. And let me tell you, if I find something that works for me, because I hate lifting weights, if this has worked for me, I was able to stick with it. I've been doing this for a while now. I'm going to stick with it. Like I just stick with her, right? So what I wanted to share with you earlier about weightlifting is I feel kind of really, really, really lucky because I went through a very long CrossFit stage in my 40s, thanks to my kids. We all went together and it was like this family thing. And this built my muscle up so much. I was also a runner. I did half marathons. I did sprint triathlons. I was in really, really good shape. So my muscle was built up. So I was ahead of the game. I had built a really good store of muscle. So if you're listening to this and you're in your 30s and your 40s, like get into it. Like now, like as I said earlier, yesterday is the time to start. So now I feel like I just have to keep it up. I did go through this stage where I feel like I lost a lot of muscle. I'm definitely a lot less muscular than I used to be. It's so humbling when it happens too, because, I've never stopped working out, but I still have lost muscle and I feel it. So, as I said, if there's one takeaway from this, this podcast blog post, I put this in a blog post also. If you read the blog post, if there's one takeaway from this, that's it. Like just start lifting weights. Okay, supplements. All right. I do believe that we need supplements because today's food, unless you're growing it yourself, which I do grow a lot of my food, but I don't grow all of it. It's just not as nutritionally dense as it once was due to unhealthy farming practices that have ruined our soil, mainly the overuse of pesticides. So just to I'm not a scientist, but I have learned a lot about this. I've taken classes about this. But when you're throwing a ton of pesticide, okay, the nutrition in the plants comes from the soil. It comes from the organisms in our soil. If you're throwing a ton of pesticides on the plants, they're going into the soil and they're killing all of those things that add the nutrients to our plants. So, it's very, very simple. We're killing our soil with the pesticides. So the plants are not as nutritionally dense as they once were when we didn't use a ton of pesticides in this country. So yes, buying organic does make a difference. Absolutely, 100%. Growing your own food, yes, makes a difference. So But that's why I believe that we do need to supplement sometimes. And I'll share what I focus on, but this is really important. I am not a dietitian, a doctor in any way, shape, or form. And more importantly, everyone has different needs. So even if I was a doctor or a nutritionist, I couldn't really tell you what you need. Your best bet is, unless I was like working with you, obviously, but your best bet is to get tested at your next physical. Just ask your doctor to test your levels. I've never had a doctor say no to me, never. Some basics to get tested are just vitamin D, magnesium, and B12, because these are some of the basic things that most Americans are low in. So get tested and then add those in if you need them, okay? But there's other things I take too, like I take turmeric for inflammation. A lot of people take your omega fatty acids. I eat a lot of chia seeds and flax, so I don't add a supplement in there. But I do take a mushroom mix supplement for brain health, which is something that's important as you go through menopause also. Now, I love Gaia Herbs for supplements because of their farming practices, but I want you to do your own research. Start being your own scientist, like I said. The supplement industry is just not regulated. So while I think that I've done my research, maybe I missed something. So do your own research. So nothing is regulated anymore, actually. So just keep questioning things. This is so important. Find the supplements that are third-party tested. So there's a little symbol. If you Google it, you could find the symbol that tells you if they're doing third-party testing. And just because a company tests some of their supplements with third-party testing doesn't mean they test all of them. It has to have the little symbol on the side of it. And that's usually pretty legit, I think. Although we're going into times where like nothing is regulated. So sometimes also just look at the practices of the company. And that's why I like Gaia Herbs, because of their practices. Also, I buy some things. I buy like herbs and teas from Mountain Rose Herbs. And I like their practices also. So that's a good first step. Now, this is a little known fact, and I might get some hate for this, but it's a fact, okay? Most doctors have little to no nutrition training. Yes, that's right. And one of the ways I learned this was when my son was in college. He was going to school for culinary nutrition, and then he shifted to be a dietitian. And so he was doing the dietitian training. And while he was doing this training, he met his partner who was studying to be a doctor. And the only nutrition training that this doctor person had was the training that my first year dietitian son was teaching him. Okay. And I think it was optional. So but there are some doctors who do take nutrition training. I'm sure there's doctors who do like continuing ed, but for the most part, they really do not have a lot of nutrition training. So that's not where I would go to get my information for nutrition. They can help with basic vitamins, but if you need more help in the area of nutrition, you're really struggling, it's not good to take advice from a doctor. I would find someone who has been trained in the area of nutrition to help you if needed, and your doctor might be able to recommend someone, okay? But a lot of people don't realize that, and I really, really do not think doctors should be given advice about nutrition, especially when it comes to some types of conditions that people have, like being a diabetic. Things that really, like where nutrition really, really affects you. I don't think I had a friend who got put on, she found out she was a diabetic. She got put on medicine. The doctor gave her no information about how to change her nutrition. As a matter of fact, he basically said, now that you're on this medication, you don't even have to pay attention to your nutrition. That is a complete lack of care right there. That doctor, as far as I'm concerned, should lose their license. And I feel like if someone is, if someone finds out they become diabetic, I think one of the first things that should be done by the doctor, should be recommended, is that they should work with a dietitian and learn how they should eat. I feel like it's ridiculous that we get put on medication and we don't learn how we can help ourselves. It's ridiculous. And I'm not saying don't take medication. I'm saying you can live your life a lot healthier and better if you know how to eat as a diabetic. Okay? Crazy, crazy stuff going on. Now, last but not least, this might be the most important. Make your happiness, your joy, your number one priority. A lot of us, as we reach this age, we start to wonder what our purpose is. How do we find it? And is this all that there is? Is this it? I'm going to go on a ledge and just say life is long. People say life is short, but it's freaking long. Think about it. I'm 57. I could live like people living to 100, right? Think about how much life I have left. Like that's a whole career. Like that's a whole, I don't know, that's a whole lifetime, right? So life is long, and if you really look at it, but don't waste your time doing shit that you don't love just because you have all this time. I'm going to tell everyone the biggest secret that I've learned while I was getting certified as a life purpose life coach, okay? This is a big deal. You do not need a life purpose coach. Nobody does, okay? Because it's really simple. This is one of those things where it may seem difficult, so you feel like you need a life purpose coach, but you don't. Now, I'm not saying don't work with a coach. Obviously, I'm a coach. I think it's very powerful to work with a coach. And I feel like everyone could work with a coach their entire life. It would make things a lot easier. Coaches help us see things that we don't always see that are right in front of our faces. But you don't need a life purpose coach, okay? It's really simple. Finding your purpose. This is how you find your purpose in life. It's so simple. It's just not easy to do in our society, the way it's set up. You follow your joy. Not things that bring society as a whole joy, like not the things that you're supposed to want, that are supposed to bring you joy, like getting married, starting a family, having a fancy car, having a fancy house, going on fancy vacations. No, that's what society is telling you want, so you stay in debt and you spend a lot of money. Now, you may want those things. There's a lot of those things I want, okay? But I want you to really think what brings you joy. It's your joy, not society's joys, not society's expectations. Your joy, your passions. Now, you might not know what that is because you've been riding that hamster wheel for so freaking long, as I did. So this is how you find it. You do stuff that you think is going to be fun. Things that you think are going to make you really, really happy. Okay? You might not be sure of it, but you think that it's going to be fun and it's going to make you happy. Then when you do it, see how it feels when you do it. If you loved it and it lit you up inside, do more of that. Now, if it didn't, try something else and keep doing this until you're having the best time of your life. Find your joy, follow your joy, do it with as much passion as possible, share it with the world, repeat. That's it. That's how you find your life purpose. That's it right there. That's the secret to life that I talked about at the beginning. Now, I know I was kind of joking around when I said that, but not really. So I'm going to say it again. Find your joy, follow your joy, do it with as much passion as possible, share it with the world, repeat. That's it. This is your purpose, and everyone else's too. As I said, it's simple, but it's not always easy. There's a lot of roadblocks, right? Like we know what our joy is, but we have to work so much that we don't have time to do it, okay? Just make small shifts. We're all unique in this world. We're so different from each other. We're all a puzzle piece in the big puzzle of humanity in the world. And when you follow your own purpose, your own joy, you fit in the puzzle and things flow because you're doing what you're supposed to do in this world. That's your job. That's your purpose. When we don't, the puzzle piece doesn't fit and things don't flow as well, okay? This has been my main focus in my life this year. And as I follow my joy, things shift and it feels so much better. It really does. It's like the more you follow your joy, the more you bring things in your life that are more aligned. It just starts to work better. It flows, like I said. But it's a process. I have to continually be aware, pay attention to how I feel, and ask myself the questions. How does this feel? Do I want to keep doing it? If not, how do I shift a little bit more? And it's all these tiny little micro shifts. It's not these big, huge changes that make a difference. We all have to work, right? Unfortunately. So making sure we spend our free time on things that make us happy is a priority. Don't waste your most valuable asset. Don't waste it. I know that the more I do this, the more my passions will be my work, if that makes sense. But it won't feel that way. It'll feel like flow. It's more like a flow. And this is my goal. I don't want to retire. Just think of that word, retire. This just sounds like you're not doing anything, like you're going to sleep, right? Or you're dying. It sounds so grim to me. Why retire? I think we really need to rethink that. I want to continuously morph into a new version of myself that gets happier as the years go by, doing all the things that I'm passionate about. And I actually don't care if that changes every day. I don't care what society thinks of me. I don't care if people think I'm crazy. I just don't care what anyone thinks, because I know that this is the way I follow my purpose, and this is the way I'm supposed to live my life, and I wish I started sooner. So if you're younger and you're listening to this and that sounds crazy to you, it's not. It's actually how we're supposed to live. Start making those shifts now as much as possible. So that's my purpose, to be passionate about what I'm doing, to continuously morph into a new version of myself that gets happier and happier as the years go by. And as I said, I just want to go strong until I drop dead when I'm older. I don't want to fade out. I don't want to retire. I want to just be moving 100% forward with passion and love and happiness until I just drop dead. So that's my purpose. This is what I view as freedom. So my question that I'm going to leave you with today is, what is your joy? What do you want to start following? And I hope that I inspired you to start following it. And as a final note, be sure to lift heavy weights while you're doing it. Okay, guys. Love you. See you next week. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a new one. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, I'd love it if you could leave a review. It helps get the show in front of more people who might need this type of support. And if you're ready to take your everyday self-care even deeper, come join us inside the Soul Aligned Life Patreon. Every week, you'll get new self-care practices and tools to help reduce stress and overwhelm. Plus, we do a monthly reset to keep you aligned and supported always. You'll find the link in the show notes, and I'd love to see you there. Until next time, be sure to take good care of yourself. Love you. Bye.